Hello everyone and welcome to this Minecraft Bedrock Edition video. This is a video for Minecraft Bedrock Edition, aka MCPE Minecraft Pocket Edition, aka plain and simple Minecraft. I know this is completely confusing, but it is not for a Java, the Java version, although this would probably work in Java too. I don't play Java, so I have no idea anyways. Let's get started, and this video is about a little contraption called T-flip-flop. A T-flip-flop, yes, and this is Oare, aka Andixoon, and I will be your host for the time of this video, which is, incidentally, my very first voiced video, so hopefully it won't be too terrible, but I'm sure it will be. And also, as you probably have noticed by now, I am not a native English speaker, so I hope my accent and my terrible mistakes won't be too unbearable. But anyways, let's get started. So, T-flip-flops, eh? What is a T-flip-flop, you might be wondering? Well, a T-flip-flop is a contraption or a mechanism that turns a short pulse, like the one that is given by this button, into a stable signal, like the one that is given out by this lever. And the reason why we want that instead of buttons and levers is that in many redstone contraptions we are going to use these guys here, and there's some kind of truck, I guess, so sorry about that. Anyways, yes, these guys, observers, and observers of course only send very short pulses, as you can see here, whenever they detect a change in the block that's right in front of them. So yeah, in your contraptions you probably are going to want to use these, but unfortunately there will be plenty of scenarios when, rather than a short pulse, you will need to have those trigger a full stable signal, as if they were levers, and this is not as easy as it sounds. So anyways, the traditional mechanism that's used to achieve exactly that effect uses these guys, droppers, and this is how they are made. You place a dropper facing this way like this, and then a second dropper facing up, and then a third dropper facing down and back into the first dropper here. Then you only need to add a hopper on top of this dropper facing and feeding into this dropper here, like this, feeding into this dropper, not this dropper here. Then you just place a button, of course, which is your input here, and then let's see what happens when we trigger it. So here's our comparator here to detect the signal, the changes, and it sees when there's an item, any item will do, here inside of the dropper, and takes the fact that there's an item and turns it into a redstone signal here. And whenever the item is removed, the signal is turned off. So what happens here is, when you press this button, this dropper here is hard powered, which means it can power adjacent blocks like these two droppers. So it gets powered and sends its item into this dropper here, and this dropper is itself powered by this dropper and sends its item into this hopper, which feeds it back into this dropper, and then the signal turns off. Then when you press the button once more, this dropper is powered, sends the item into this dropper, but the beauty of it is that once the item reaches this dropper from the top dropper here, the bottom dropper here has already completed its own item sending sequence, and so the item stays inside of it. So let's see it happen right now. So if I press this button, the item will end up in this dropper here. Okay, so press, this turns off and the item is here. And if I press it once more, the item is here and the signal is on. As you can see, the item is here. And this is a very clever and very useful device, this thing here, because you can, of course, take not one signal out of it, but two inverted signals if you place a comparator next to this dropper here. Okay, so because whenever I press this button, the item will come into this dropper here, so this will power on this comparator and this redstone dust on, like this here. And if I press it once more here, as you can see, the signals are inverted, so this could have several different use scenarios. But there's one little problem, and it's the fact that this mechanism cannot be used into arrays or inside of arrays. Let's just make a quick array right here to illustrate the idea. So I'm almost down here. You just need to place this like that, and a hopper here facing this way. So let's place a button here, and you can probably guess what the problem is going to be right now. As I was saying a few minutes earlier, the very foundation upon which this design is built is the fact that when this button is pressed here, this dropper is hard powered, and this dropper being hard powered means it can power these neighboring droppers too. But of course this is a neighboring dropper too, so this will get powered as well as these two. So what's gonna happen? Well, if I press this, the item will end up in this dropper as intended, but unfortunately this dropper here will be powered too, and it will send its item into this dropper. But this dropper here, it will not be powered because it's not touching this dropper here. So the item will end up in this dropper, which is a completely undesirable behavior. Like, let's try it. Oh, let's place an item in this first. Here goes. So here we have an item here and an item here, and if I press this button, both are turned off. But while this one received its item properly, the item on this side ended up here. And of course, the fact that this was triggered in the first place is not desirable, because we only want to power this part of the system, the array, not this part. So yes, this is a problem. And I wanted to find a way to make T-flip flops which could be used in arrays. And I kind of stumbled upon a usable idea while making a system that allows flushing mechanisms in mob farms or mob traps to automatically get resynchronized, and I will make a separate video about that because it would be way too long to make it into a single video, to make both the T-flip-flop and the resyncing mechanism into one single video, and also it wouldn't make much sense, of course. Anyways, let's see it. It's, as you can see, this. It's only this. It's very simple. It's a very simple mechanism. So let's place a button here and check that everything is in place. Yes, everything should work. So if I press the button, this should turn on. And it does. And if I press the button again, it turns off. And if I press the button again, it turns on, and again it turns off. And here, as you can see, I have already prepared a small array combining 3 of these little devices here, and you will see if I press this button here, only this part of the system will be turned off. And if I press this button, of course, only this part will be turned off. And if I press this button, only this part will be affected again. So let's try it. Here, as you can see, only the middle part was affected. And if I press it again, it turns back on. And if I press this one, here, this is off. And I could turn this off by pressing this. And of course, I could turn the third one off too by pressing this, and then I could turn this back on, back off, and back on, and back on. And as you can see, there is no interference whatsoever between the 3 devices that make up this little array here. And you could make that 1000 block wide if you wanted. You would never have any kind of interference. So how it works is very simple. The way it works is very simple. It uses propriety of these things here, which are not droppers but observers. It's in Japanese, so maybe you can't read that. It depends on you, I guess. But anyway, yes, because I live in Japan. I've been living in Japan for most of my adult life, and I am now almost 40 years old, yes, and I'm still playing Minecraft, so well, whatever. Anyways, yes, anyways, these observers, these dispensers here, dispenser, it's a dispenser and not a dropper, and it's not an observer either. Anyways, these dispensers have an interesting property, which is that whenever they have a bucket full of water inside of them, they send a redstone signal that travels for 2 blocks after the comparator. But whenever the bucket is emptied, as you can see, the signal only travels for 1 block after the comparator. So if you place the receiving end of your signal 3 blocks from the comparator, you can use this to your advantage. You retrieve the water, signal goes to this, into this, and this is turned on. You place the water back and this turns off. Okay, so Now let's see how to build it, and it is extremely simple. So what you need is a dispenser, if I can find one. Here, a dispenser, bit of a redstone dust and a redstone comparator, and that's it. So how to make it? First you need to dig a hole inside of the ground, or into the ground, and the reason why you need this hole is because you need somewhere for the water to be placed in. So the easiest way is to dig a little hole like this. One block tall hole is one block deep hole is enough. So here, this is done. Then you place your comparator wherever you want, maybe for example here. Then you place two pieces of redstone dust and the receiving end of your signal, which we will make a repeater, but it could be a redstone lamp or a piston or whatever you want. A repeater would be nice if you needed to extend the length of your signal, of course, or if you wanted to power a block or anything. Well, anyways, and then you just need to place a block, solid block, next to your dispenser. And the reason why we're placing a solid block here is that we don't want this to trigger neighboring dispensers. Otherwise we would end in the same kind of scenario as with this contraption. So here we place a block, solid block here. So this block will be hard powered, and since the neighboring blocks are all going to be other solid blocks and not powerable devices, these will not be affected. And this is the whole idea behind the design. Because the problem is you couldn't do that with this, because if you put a solid block here, since the hard powered block would be this one, the signal would only reach this dropper here, and so this dropper would send its item here, but this wouldn't be powered, so the item could not be placed back into this dropper here. So anyways, yes, you place a solid a solid block here, and then a bucket of water inside of your dispenser, and as you can see, the signal is on, and if I press the button, signal is off. And if you want to make an array, you just dig a hole, you make your hole bigger and just place exactly the same contraption or the same device, copies of the same device, always facing into the same direction, right next to each other, like so. Here, and then so we have our middle dispensers, solid block, comparator, redstone, and repeater, and then we need two buckets of water. Then I actually took the second one. That's a bit surprising. Anyways, yes, bucket, and then button, and this is it. Here it's working perfectly as intended, with no interference whatsoever between the three dispensers. Of course, there are a few drawbacks to this design, and the biggest drawback is of course the fact that you need some way or somewhere to contain the water, so it couldn't be used in very compact contraptions unless this part of the design is right stuck or placed right onto the ground. Another demerit or drawback of this design is of course also related to the fact it uses water, but well, yes, because as you probably know, water and redstone, yeah, not always a good match. So you have to be very careful when you build it, that you have to be careful and place the dispensers in a way that you're sure the water can never reach your redstone dust blocks, because otherwise, well, terrible things can happen. Anyways, this is it, guys. I hope you liked this video and found it useful, or at least that you'll find uses for this little T-flip-flop array in the future. And yes, this is it. So yeah, if you liked the video, please hit the like button so that more people can discover it on YouTube and maybe find uses for this contraption, or maybe make it even better, which is probably possible. And because like I said, I haven't been playing around with redstone for very long, but I'm just having a lot of fun, so yeah. And also, if you're interested in my future content, please hit the subscribe button. Of course, since this is my first video, there's basically nothing in my channel right now, but I'm planning on making further videos later on. So yeah, if you're interested in seeing what I come up with or what I do, please hit the subscribe button and stay tuned. So yeah, this is it, and hopefully I will see you in a future video. So anyways, goodbye for now. This was Endixoon, aka Oare, and yes, goodbye, and thank you for watching.